Hi, I'm Kelly Wirtz for Legs Up Barbecue, and welcome to Nex-Tech Pitmaster. Today we're going to do fajitas all on the grill. That's the fajita meat, the tortillas, even the peppers and onions. We're going to show you how to do all on the grill, all outside. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got our flame broiler opened up inside our Louisiana grill that lets us actually flame broil our fajita meat right over an open fire. And when I get that open, here we go. Actually, what I've got today for our fajita meat is a couple of pieces of pork loin that we're going to use for our fajitas. We can use pork loin. You know, if you want to use a skirt steak, we can basically follow the same concept of what we're doing here. Whatever other beef you want to use, a lot of times I'll use an eye of round roast. That's that kind of round eye of round roast is what it looks like, and slice that off into slabs. We'll finish them off on here, and then we can just slice them crossways nice and thin to make our fajita meat out of. What I really like about doing fajitas on our grill with our flame broiler, we're getting this nice hot direct flame to sear that pork loin off, to sear our fajita meat off, but we're also going to get some good char on that fajita meat too, because that's really what I'm looking for, is some good char on it, some of that outside good tasting almost burnt stuff. The other thing we can do here, we'll show you as we get to going. I've got our peppers and onions already marinated in some olive oil and some fajita seasoning. So I'm just going to set those in the skillet and go ahead and put our skillet on, let that skillet start heating up. So ideally what we're going to end up doing here is doing our fajita meat over the flame broiler, get that outside nice and seared off. It's not going to be done yet. We're going to set that over here and trade places, and then we can really get to sauteing our peppers and onions up. See what we got here. See, we're starting to get some char on that already. What seems to work the best with running our flame broiler for using it as a sear station like this, a char station. We'll set at about 400, 420 degrees, somewhere right in there on our digital control. Don't pay much attention to where the actual temperature's at, because with the lid open, you know, the temperature's going to drop, but we want to be feeding pellets all the time where we've got it going as well too. So it may take you a little bit of practice to get used to where to set the digital to where the flame broiler really works good for the way you want to run it. The flame broiler, what it really gives us though is that ability to get that nice char on things, to get that nice brown seared charred action going on. To be able to do that, we've got to get to that 500, 600 degree range to actually make that chemical reaction work, to change the meat proteins into sugars to be able to get us to sear, to char. You know, we just can't do that sitting at 350, 400 degrees anywhere else on the grill. We'll get it done, but we just won't get everything charred off the way we want to. See, there we go. We're starting to get some good color on it. Not quite where I want it yet, where I want it. That one's going to take looks like it's going to take a little longer. I've already got our meat seasoned up though as well too. with some Kelly's mesquite dust and some fajita seasoning. Let that set overnight for a couple hours at least, something like that. There we go. Kind of just, it's one of those things you just got to kind of stay here and watch it a little while. Make sure you don't get it too charred up. There we go. That's really kind of about what I'm looking for on that one. What's this one looking like? Pretty dang close. We're getting a good fire running under it now. There. Let those sear up, char up on the other side for a little bit here. We won't be too much longer. We're getting some good flame under there now. Let's check these again. We're getting close. I like the flame broiler, works great for a lot of things. The only thing I really don't like about it for some things is there's just not a lot of room there. I can get you know, 4 or 5 pieces about like this on, couple 3 hamburgers, 1 or 2 steaks maybe, something like that. It works great for a lot of things. And these are some of the things I really like using them for. Even if we take like a whole roast, set that whole roast over that flame broiler, and we can just keep rolling it from side to side to get that outside crusty stuff that everybody likes. Tri-tips. I really like doing tri-tips over the flame broiler first, and then I can set them over to the other side and let those finish up. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. Yep. Okay, we got those seared off, we got a little bit of char on them, what I'm looking for. So now I can set those back over here on this side. I can take my steel, it's just a carbon steel skillet, set it over the flame broiler, so now I can start sauteing onions and vegetables. The airflow on our Louisiana grills tends to move from the fire pot down there down to this end and then up and start circulating. So if I can set my fajita meat that I've got seared off but it's not done yet, set it down here towards the where all that hot air is coming around, it'll finish up a little bit faster. You'll notice I've already getting some good heat going in my peppers and onions. While those are going, I'm going to go over here and get some tortillas ready. Tear off some foil. Use our water bottle to keep it down. Get our gloves on. Get you a stack of tortillas, however many you think you're going to need, in there. And what I like doing with them is get just a slightly damp paper towel. squeeze some of it back out, just kind of slightly damp. Just throw on top. Seal that foil up. Now we're going to put that back on the grill. As tortillas are sitting in there, they're going to start warming up. That little bit of damp, wet paper towel just helps keep some moisture in those tortillas, keep them from drying out in there. We're going to be probably about 4 or 5 minutes while these peppers and onions get sauteed down. So let's take a break and we'll come back, check on those, and our fajita meat should be done and our tortillas should be warm all about the same time. All right, we're back. We've been probably, what, 3 or 4 minutes with the peppers and onions running, with our fajita meat down here on the other end finishing up. We're getting some, our peppers and onions. There we go. Getting good and sauteed, some good dark stuff on the bottom. Nice and tender, but not too overdone. Just with that, with our steel skillet right on that flame broiler, just like a burner in your house. Let's check our fajita meat over here. I'm shooting for about 135 to 140. Yep, 135, 138. So we're good there, because I'm going to pull that fajita meat off right here, set it on some foil, and I'm going to let that set and rest for a little bit before we start slicing into it. Pull our peppers and onions off, set it on our table. Just make sure you don't set that hot pan on a plastic table. It works much better that way. We've got our warm tortillas now that are moist because we left a little bit of moisture in there. So now we're just going to wrap our fajita meat up in some foil. As with any meat, whether it's a steak, hamburger, fajitas, pork butt, or whatever it is, always let that meat protein rest for a little bit. Let those meat fibers relax. Let the moisture redistribute inside that meat, so you don't lose near as much moisture when we cut into it then. Pork, we can get, I pulled it about 135 to 140 because I'm shooting for about 140 degrees. It's going to run up just a little bit. We may be 140 to 145 when that's done on the internal temp of that pork. Actually, the pork loin that we're using for that fajita meat. We'll let everything else set and cool down just a little bit. Then we'll come back here in a little bit, slice up and serve up, and off we go. And we're back. We've let our fajita meat rest here for a little bit. So when we go to slicing into it, we don't lose all the moisture out of it. So let's go ahead and make some fajitas up for you guys. Get that foil open. I know it's not quite like a traditional fajita, where you might use a skirt steak or a flank steak, but we can buy pork loins for, sometimes you can get them on sale for $1.70, $1.80 a pound, or $2.50, $2.75, somewhere in there, versus some of the other stuff that you might want to use, quite a little bit more expensive. If you want to use that, that's great. If not, you know, fajitas don't always have to be traditional skirt steak, whatever else you might think. You can use about anything for them. We're just going to slice this thin, just like we would do for any other fajita. See all that slicing we're doing, very little moisture coming out, but yet our fajita meat's still nice and moist. I'm going to put this back in this foil with a little bit of that juice yet. Okay, so we've got our peppers and onions. Our tortillas, if I can ever get to them in here. Here we go. Yep, they're nice and warm. That paper towel's kept us nice and moist. Do a couple 3 out here for you guys. There we are. See that nice char and that nice crust, that's nice brown that we've got on that pork loin for that fajita meat. So we're just going to lay a little bit out on there, however much you want, 3 or 4 pieces. These are a little smaller, so we'll put a few more on. We got some nice pepper and onion. It's been seasoned up. But see, the nice thing about everything we've done here, we've done this all outside, all on our Louisiana wood pellet grill. So you can do this in the summer and not have to worry about heating the house up, getting grease spattered all over in the house or anything else. Just makes it nice and convenient, easy, and off you go. Now you have fajitas ready to eat. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.